Well, today I want to talk about something important because there is a lot of confusion and controversy over the entire idea of continuing relationships after death. And look, I get it. I understand when even shamans talk about how it's impossible for a spirit to die and transition and come back. That they don't understand what's really going on the planet right now. So I want you, however, to understand the truth, right? Because it is absolutely possible for someone to transition, go through the healing that occurs when a spirit leaves their earthly body behind and crosses over to the afterlife. Understand that they can return to connect, right? But there's a thing that needs to happen for that to occur. They require someone here in a body who's open to connecting with them, who is willing to engage with them, right? And that's not going to be most people. Let's just be honest here. Of course not. Most people don't believe even in the afterlife. And even if they do believe in the afterlife, many of those people were never told that it was possible to continue to connect with someone when they transition. All right, so we're up against a lot of misinformation, a lot of fear about what is that really? Well, how could that possibly be okay? Aren't you holding them back from transitioning? That is what a lot of other spiritual teachers and again, shamans might say that, right? But what I have come to understand in my connecting with my husband on the other side, who was himself a psychic medium and healer, just as I am, he says, of course, people can continue their relationships. They have from the beginning of time. It's just that most people don't talk about it. Most people who share this will be criticized or ridiculed, right? Or certainly they could even be rejected outright by their families, like ostracized, like you're crazy or this is wrong. And yet this is happening to scores of people. I was shocked when I found out how many people were actually reporting that they were having communication from their loved ones. Some of them to such an extent that they did think that they were going crazy because nobody else was experiencing this, and so they had nothing to compare it to. But just because you're having these paranormal type of experiences, right? Like objects moving, or even the spirit appearing, or even in some cases, physical touch. I'm literally meaning like feeling touched by spirit. Doesn't mean that they're an earthbound ghost or spirit, right? It doesn't mean that they haven't transitioned and returned. The reason these experiences are on the rise is because you and I, our consciousness is rising. And this is the factor, this is the truth that a lot of spiritual teachers do not understand. That humanity is raising in consciousness, that we're shifting from third density. This is the physical world, this third density. And within third density, there is a fourth density. It's still part of the physical world, but it's a higher frequency. It's a state that you and I can reach where we're quasi physical, where we have heightened intuition, right? Where we are able to perceive the spirit world because our vibration is higher, where we experience synchronicity in our life, where we experience magic and miracles as well. And as more people shed their limiting beliefs, process their trauma, right? They raise their frequency, and they discover that they are intuitive and they are psychic, because that's who we are as a soul. The soul that we are is 100% psychic. So when you wake up your soul, of course you're going to have more enhanced abilities. This is who you are. It's just been covered over, blocked, if you will, by limiting beliefs and fears and issues that, if once addressed and cleared, no longer hinder us, and we rise up to fourth density, right? And more people are beginning that ascent. That is what ascension is. It's a rise to fourth density. And it doesn't happen with a right flip of a switch. I mean, it's gradual. So what I believe we're witnessing is that rise in vibration by ordinary people. And then when their loved one transitions, if that loved one is very strong and able to connect through the higher dimension, right? Because they have to lower their frequency to connect with us. If they're able to do that, and the person in a body is open enough, sensitive enough that they can perceive them, then we're meeting them halfway. And we can have these experiences. We can have communication. We can continue our relationships, right? It's society that looks at it as a taboo or something that is crazy, right? Because people don't understand that the soul is eternal, and that nothing has changed when someone physically dies except that they dropped their body. And the only reason there hasn't been more continuing of relationships across the veil is because humanity's consciousness was too dense, was too low for the most part. There have always been people whose awareness was higher, whose frequency was higher. And so, of course, they've had access to higher realms. That's always been the case, but they've been in the minority. But now, more people are opening up and having these experiences, sometimes spontaneously. Many times they're shocked by it. Sometimes they don't even believe in the afterlife. I have met people like that who were complete disbelievers in the spirit world, and yet they started having these experiences, started happening, okay? And they didn't know what to do about it because it didn't fit their map of reality, but they couldn't deny that it was happening. And in their case, what was probably going on was that their loved one had such strong energy on the other side, because some of them do. They're quite strong when they cross over. Some of them, not all of them. Everyone is at a different level, but some are so strong in their energy that, yeah, they can break through, even if the person is in complete disbelief. Although, generally speaking, if you're someone who does believe, it's going to be easier for someone on the other side to come through to you, right? Because you're basically opening the door to them because you believe and you have no fear. Whereas somebody who's fearful is going to close the door just because that's how it is. If you fear something, if you fear the other side, you're putting up a wall, right? And they won't be able to scale that wall, or at least not easily, unless they have a lot of energy to knock on your door and make their presence known, right? And yet, just the other day, I was listening to a spiritual teacher talk about how, no, the spirits who cross over, they stay there. And if you see any spirit, like while you're here in a body, you see a ghost, oh, that's an earthbound spirit. You need to send them to the light. I'm not saying that there are not earthbound spirits. Yes, there are. I have worked with people who have a relationship with someone who's earthbound, and that's not what I'm talking about. Those earthbound spirits are still connected to their negative ego. A lot of times they have a lot of fear, they have negative energy. They are actually draining usually the people that they're attached to because they're still in a lower vibration or can be. And so they're not of much benefit to their loved ones that they're hanging out with because of this, because they haven't dropped their negative ego and they're carrying their issues and their resentments and their fears. So they're not a positive influence to the ones they love. But the people that I've met, the people that I teach and that I coach, that's not how their loved ones are. They're not dense. They're not challenged emotionally. They are loving. They are supporting their loved ones here in the body. They're guiding them. They're even healing them in some cases. So these are not earthbound spirits. These are loved ones who've been healed by the light, by their transition, and were able to return because their loved ones were open to them and their vibration was high enough that they could interact. Okay, because you cannot connect with someone that you're not in vibrational proximity to. You don't have to line up completely equal, but you have to be close enough in frequency and vibration to communicate, right? And the beautiful thing is, as we evolve, those of us in these relationships, as we evolve, our communication, our experience through the veil with them can become even deeper, more refined, more extraordinary. But people need to understand what's going on. And it's very disheartening when I hear that people like myself who are having these relationships are being told by so-called experts, spiritual teachers, shamans, mediums, that that's impossible. Your loved one must be earthbound. You need to send them to the light. No, I'm sorry. You guys are not the experts here. As far as I'm concerned, people like myself, and trust me, there are hundreds of us who are having these relationships, are the ones who know the truth, because our relationships through the veil are positive, are loving, are healing. They are changing our lives because our loved ones are pure positive energy. And yes, they exist in the fifth dimension. And yes, by our reaching to them in the fifth dimension, we're drawing on that energy, that higher energy, right? And that energy, that love, is transforming us, is up-leveling us, healing us in ways that are truly miraculous. And I know that in time, the world will embrace this. It will come to be known as the truth. Right now, we're on the frontier, right? Those of us in these relationships are literally on the fringe, are pushing the boundary here. And we need to understand that most people won't be able to accept it, and that's okay. It is okay. But in time, the world will understand it. But for now, for today, I just want to reach out to the people who may be beginning this journey and wondering if this is true, if this is real. I want to reassure you that it is. What do you have to lose except your grief? What do you have to lose, right? Except your sense of loss, your sense of abandonment, your sense of disconnection, all of which stems from your belief that they're gone. That's all it is. You're choosing a belief that you cannot connect with them. And that's not true. It's not true at all. So believe that they're with you, because I promise you they are. There's nowhere else for them to go when everything is right here, right now, where it will eternally be. So invite them in. Let them prove it to you that they're there. If you give them enough time, they will prove it to you, right? But you have to let go of your fear, and you have to let go of your doubt, and you have to trust and believe.